Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Bennett with the Canadian Culture Wars Report. About a year ago, in September 2023, days before the groundbreaking 1 Million March for Children rallies in cities across Canada, executives from a ton of different unions joined in an emergency Zoom call to organize against the parental voice. The Million Marches were organized by ordinary citizens across Canada. These are parents and citizens like me or you, many of whom decided to engage in their democratic right to have their voices heard for the very first time. For over an hour, these execs baselessly accused parents of all kinds of things, including being fascists and being homophobes or transphobes. But more importantly, they schemed on how they would demoralize the parental voice, their words. Let's listen to what they had to say. This is what Emily Quayle, Vice President of CUPE 4600, had to say about parents.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. So my name is Emily. I'm a VP at CUPE 4600 here in Ottawa at Carleton University, and I'm also a steering committee member of Community Solidarity Ottawa, which has been organizing in Ottawa since the convoy. I would just like to address a couple of points that I heard. First, I'll go with the previous speaker. I was the parent who led the organizing efforts of June 9th on Broadview Avenue in Ottawa when Save Canada, Josh Alexander, and Billboard Chris came. And I have a lot of great information to share and spread about what they did, how they organized, and how we countered. Our numbers were, in fact, a lot bigger than just a couple hundred. I think we had probably closer to 300 or 400, whereas fascists were indeed violent. And I really would like to start sharing that information. I will also drop in a chat about an article the Canadian Anti-Hate Network published that details our stories. In terms of Ottawa, we have just planned a counter protest starting at 9 a.m. on the Supreme Court of Canada lawn. We chose this location because it's just adjacent to where they were building, and we are not in the business of defending the state from fascists. We are in the business of protecting communities and each other to ensure that the hate does not go unopposed in the streets. I encourage you to share that. I'll again drop that in the chat for everyone. And I also just want to speak to something that Vicky brought up, just about how we're opposing this and what we're up against. And I think as much as it's important to understand the fact that we are dealing with a very fractured and difficult to track movement, that they've actually gotten quite a lot better organizing themselves despite all of these internal infighting. One of the reasons why we're having difficulty finding lots of accurate information on march routes, on who's exactly organizing, is not because they're disorganized, it's because they've gotten better at operational security. They're doing a lot more things that's tighter and harder to infiltrate and harder to track. So I just think it's important to kind of keep that in context, that they are able to, at this moment, rise above their internal discord to build a very, very big movement. I also think that I would like to bring attention to the fact that, this is absolutely crucial that we oppose this in the streets. And this is just to kind of build off of other points that other wonderful labor leaders here have talked about, is that we all know that our workplace issues don't stop when we finish work for the day. And we know that society doesn't stop when we walk into work in the morning. And we have to approach this in that, we have to keep that in our minds when we are out there. The fascists are organizing in the streets. I'm a researcher at Carleton, and my focus is fascism in Canada and the signs that I've seen that were rising, that this is far more than just like a far-right transphobic protest. They are fundamentally racist. They're fundamentally anti-union. They are fundamentally queer and transphobic. And it's just a matter of time before they come to us. And the only way, the best way that the fascists have been stopped in the last 100 years has been when we unite in massive numbers in the streets. So this requires us to pivot and start to think about how we can use our inherent strength in a way that we're not used to using. Where we have to remember that our strength isn't just at the bargaining table. It isn't just when we're on the picket line. It isn't just when we're trying to get some better benefits for our workers. It's about flexing that with communities. As a member of Community Solidarity Ottawa, I do just want to plug, sorry, I'm talking super rapid fast. I just don't want to take up everyone's time here. But I do want to mention that as Community Solidarity Ottawa, we were formed in the convoy with lots of affiliates of Labour. And since then, we've seen a massive demobilization post-convoy. This is due to the natural siloing that happens amongst us. We get busy with bargaining. We get busy with other issues. It's a volunteer organization. But in that time of demobilization, they got better. The fascists got way better at organizing. So what we need to do is really encourage everyone to reach out to their local organizations with not just statements of solidarity, but like actual tangible material things of people coming out, administrative help to help launch websites, help people build those internal structures so that we can build a movement rather than just putting out fires. Because that's what they're doing. So we need to start catching up a little bit. And we know that we're better than them. We also don't have to worry too much about putting our members and our comrades in unsafe situations, because when we get numbers, we're going to keep each other safe. And we're really good at listening. And that's something that the other side didn't have. And we saw that on the streets on Broadview in June, that they had difficulty kind of remobilizing and being fluid. And so we need to remember that we have the natural solidarity in our hearts that we can trust and listen to each other and move quickly. So building that trust and testing that trust in the streets is going to be really great and very excellent skill building. So I really strongly encourage everyone to kind of think about how we can really kind of think specifically, get to work. I know we always end up in these meetings all the time, but now we've got to just like hit the ground running, start flooding resources. Can we loan staff in kind to existing organizations in Toronto or Ottawa or other cities where they exist? Can we loan office resources? Can we do printing? All of this stuff is going to be huge. CUPE 4600 as well just passed the CLC motion with a $2,000 yearly budget to it. And I strongly encourage everyone to consider doing something like that, because that encourages that things actually just get spent, money gets out the door, and we have a more, a stronger promise of support beyond a statement and beyond just like the handful of the sane activists all the time just showing up to these things. Okay, I'm going to drop all my links as well as my contact information into the chat. So I strongly encourage everyone and their dog to reach out to me. We can work together on this. We've got a lot of knowledge in this room, and I'm so stoked to see this many people on this call. So solidarity, everyone.
Here's the thing. When you label everyone that you might disagree with a fascist and quite literally try to drown out their voices with as much noise as possible, are you respecting their freedom of expression? Is that even democratic? More importantly, is it the role of unions to get involved in that kind of action? Let me know what you think in the comments.